Welcome to the Computer Programming A course, and if you're watching this video, you are inside this course orientation. I want to give you a quick tour of the course just so you can see what things are available and what you should be looking for while you take this course. I also have an outline here to follow along on the right hand side that will help us keep on track here. So number one, the syllabus. We'll talk about the syllabus. It's very important that you've read it and that you have understood everything that is in it. So you should know basically what your main time frame is very important. Now this is about a 12-week timeline, so that's what these days are set up for. If you do not have 12 weeks to complete the course, you will need to work quicker than this. If you have more than 12 weeks, you obviously can work slower than this, so I just use 12 weeks as the general time frame for these amount of days. Grade-wise, it's a total points. You can read through and look at how it is graded. Understand that your grades are not final until everything is graded. Every week I submit progress here to NSO, and you will be given one of these marks every single week. OK means I think you're on the right pace. Missing work, MW, means you're behind pace to finish in time, which means you need to pick it up. And R1 is if you have not turned in anything to be graded within a week. And R2 is if you've not turned anything in to be graded within 2 weeks. And if you do go 3 weeks without turning in a graded item, you will be removed from the course, which means you will no longer receive credit for it. So please be aware of that. To earn credit for the course, you are required to finish everything. You must finish everything. It's that straightforward. And when everything is finished, you must have a passing grade. Make sure that you understand that clearly. Supplies, make sure you have a computer you're able to install NetBeans. That is in the orientation and in lesson 1. That's the software that will be used for everything. You need to have ways to digitize your work, so a camera or just use Word to type things up if you need to. Most things, of course, will be done in NetBeans, which is the programming software we'll use. And a printer might be useful so that you can print off documents or notes if you would like. When you need help, the big thing here is to make sure that you email your instructor. That is the most important thing. That's your first line of defense. Email the instructor if you have a question or are having issues. Every day, it's pretty simple. Log in, do some work. You should be working every single day and to get things done and not to fall behind. Again, you can read all of this. My goal is not to read this all to you. The last page of the syllabus lists basically everything that will be done and graded in this course. So you can use that as a checklist for yourself too. So that's the syllabus, a quick run through of the syllabus for you. The next item on the list is lessons. So each day, and some of these lessons you can finish in a day. Some of these lessons you could maybe do 2 lessons in a day. Some of these, though, will take you a couple of days. So these are all lessons. It's very important that you do these in the order that they are presented. And so I'm going to choose a lesson here that's a project day just so I can talk about some stuff here. It's very important that you follow them step by step. So do number 1 first, number 2 second, number 3 third. This is a very short lesson because it is a project. Now, a short lesson meaning there aren't very many directions here. But this project will take you a significant amount of time because, like I said, it is a project, and so you'll need to spend some time on the project. A lot of assignments, there is a description which will open up, which tells you here's the assignment. But when you're done, you need to do a turn-in. And so here on a turn-in, and the way that they'll look is they'll tell you to copy and paste all of your code, because you're going to be programming all of these. You'll click Add Submission. And there'll just be an online text box where you will just simply copy all of your code that you had created for your program into the text box. And you always want to make sure that you hit Save Changes or Submit. So there's a quick run through on lessons and homework. Many of these will have videos that you will need to watch. I'll find a lesson here that has videos in it, hopefully. So here you go. I try to tell you how long they are, so this is about 11-minute video that you would need to watch during this lesson. Okay, so there's a lot about lessons. And now as far as help, I mentioned that already, but the main line of defense, the first thing you should do is always email the teacher. email the teacher. Now, in addition to that, in some of these lessons, there will be at the bottom if you need extra resources. And so a Java cheat sheet is basically all a really nice tool, I'll tell you that. It has a lot of information as you work through the course. So this has a lot, it's really exactly what it says. It's some notes and cheat sheet for a lot of the lessons that you've learned. The lesson numbers at the top do not correspond to this course, as these cheat sheets were taken from a different course. But those Java cheat sheets, there's also links to Blue Pelican textbook, which is an online textbook that you could use if you need extra resources. But the goal is that the lesson contains what you need. When you need more resources or reminders, there are additional items below that might be helpful. And so hopefully that's another way for you to get help. But when you're stuck or you really have a problem, you should email the teacher. And if you have a question about code, if you're writing a program and you can't get something to work, or you have a problem, or you have errors you can't figure out, then you would want to email the teacher and also paste that code into the email and explain what the issue is and what's happening. That would be your best way to get help on that. Let's talk about grades next, number 4 here. I'll go back to the main course. To look up your grade, you're going to want to go to Administration and Grades, Course Administration Grades, and you'll see a list of all of your grades. Now these are all empty right now because I'm the teacher and I haven't really taken any of these for credit, but there's a list of everything that's going to be graded in this course. And down this list right here, you can see every single thing is blank, which means Mr. Henderson's not completed a single thing yet in this course. When you are done with this course, there should be a grade in every single one of these little dash marks. If any of them are missing or do not have grades, then one of two issues is happening. Number one, you never did it, you never turned it in. Or number two, you turned it in and it has not been graded yet. Those are the two issues. Many of these things, the computer grades immediately and gives you feedback and gives you a score. Many of the items where you copy and paste your code, they get sent to your instructor, and your instructor grades them manually. Now that could take 1 to 4 days really to grade programs manually, depending on how sophisticated, complex, and what the timing is regarding a weekend and things like that. But when all the grades are in for all of these items, you will, and if you have a passing grade, then you will earn credit. If those are not completed, then credit cannot be granted. Please make sure, I will stress that over and over again, if you've not completed all items, credit will not be granted. Okay, so that's a little bit about grades. Course end date. Alright, it is crucial that you know your course end date, because your course end date will really tell you how much time you have left to finish the course. And if you don't finish the course in the time that you are supposed to finish, then you can't earn credit for the course either. So it is crucial to know when your course end date is. And the question is, how do you know it? First, when you registered for the course, and I'm going to find a document here. When you registered for the course, you were in Genius, SIS, or Genius Student Information System. You or your counselor. Now, that course end date, as all the things were being filled out to request this course, that course end date was entered into the computer, and all of NSO's documents really kind of make it look like you enter them as a student, but your counselor may have done it too. But there is the term that you're registering for, and then there's also a start date and an end date that you entered when you registered. So if this document or some of these screens look familiar to you, there was a start and end date entry field that you had to enter or your counselor entered, and those are very, very important, because if you've not completed by your course end date, then the course is not complete and you do not get credit. For some students, that looks very different than other students. If some students finish the course and have only 6 weeks to finish the course, some students have 10, 8, 12. I've had some students who were allotted, I'd say 12, even 14, maybe 16 weeks. So it's very important to know what you have to work with. The other way to know is, once you registered for this course and you were accepted into the course, you were sent an email. Your instructor gets this email too, and it looks just like this on the right hand side. This is the exact email that is sent to you and to your instructor. to your counselor. It says, "Dear," and it would say your name here. "This email is being sent to you to confirm your registration for the Computer Programming A course." Now that might say a different name there, a different course name. But the course name, again, it will say it. It will have your instructor's name, and it will have a start date, the date that you were entered into the course, and it will have an end date. That end date is crucial. It's critical. You must know what that end date is. Write it down. Look yours up and write it down. Find this email, or go into go into Genius and find it. It is listed in Genius also. Write it down. You need to know it, and this course is going to ask you for it, actually. So please look it up now. If you do not know it off the top of your head, either go into Genius and log in and find it, or find this email that said you were registered and write it down. I keep saying that, but believe me, you must know it. So that's course end date. Now, this is a work at your own pace class, but please keep in mind, again, a work at your own pace class means, yes, you could work hard one day, you might not work hard the next day, but you must finish the course in time. We are all humans and we know what procrastination is, so a lot of times if we know that we have 6 weeks to complete something, we will just take our sweet old time and be a little lazy in the beginning. And again, I'm a human and I'm guilty too, but this course is not a course that you really can wait on to finish in the last 2 weeks. It is an online course. It does not mean it's easier. Online courses are not intended to always be easier. They're intended to be work at your own pace. You have to be independent. You have to be willing to learn on your own. Yet the teacher's there to help you, and there is instruction there to guide you, notes and videos and things of that nature. So that's very important. Lastly, just remember to earn credit. It's very important that you do the things that I had mentioned, that you finish on time and you have everything done. You are passing the course. You have a passing grade. And when everything is done and you believe that you're finished, make sure that you send your instructor an email to communicate that, to say, "Hey, I think I'm all done. Could you just verify that I have everything completed that is needed to get credit for the course?" So, back to the main course page. It's just important to know how to navigate, and again, it's fairly straightforward, that you just work down the list, complete the lesson, do everything in the lesson, and when it's done, move on. If you'd like to, you can check off that you have that lesson completely done to keep track of that. But in this course, there are 5 main learning units, and then Unit 6, which is the final project and the final exam. And so just keep in mind, pace yourself and work hard every day. And my hope is that you find success, you learn a lot, and that you enjoy this course so much that you decide to take the next computer programming course after it. Thanks.